City of Charleston Councilman James Lewis and Jimmy Billy Jr. are headed into a runoff on November 17th. In this edition of Quintin's Close-Ups, I sat down with Jimmy Billy Jr. one-on-one. Well, Jimmy, it is so good to see you again.
Good to see you again.
I appreciate that. Well, let me start off with this. The following headline comes from the Post-Courier on November 4th. It says the following: 2 Charleston City Council races likely headed for November 17th runoff. Tell me, as we sit here right now, what has it been like to be Jimmy Billy Jr. over the past 2 days?
Tiring,
Yeah.
exciting. I've been humbled by how kind people have been, and it's just been a great experience.
Yeah. And you said this to the Post-Courier about your opponent, Councilman James Lewis. You said, quote, "He is my opponent, not my enemy." We know that he's not your enemy. But as far as issues, what do you oppose?
What do I oppose?
Yeah, with him and his issues regarding city council and your district.
Well, first of all, I have been very consistent in saying that Councilmember Lewis is a good man that I've known for many years, and he is my opponent. He's not my enemy. We have shared a lot of nice moments together during this campaign. In fact, about a half an hour before the polls closed on Tuesday night, he and I had a nice long chat outside of Charleston Charter. And, I am sure that there are specific issues where he and I differ, as is the case with almost anyone. I think the big difference between me and Councilmember Lewis really is just different styles and a different outlook. And I just think that with all of the change that is coming to the city, in particular to some of the Upper Peninsula neighborhoods, that we need a more aggressive approach, someone who's a little more proactive in terms of looking out for neighborhood livability and pushing the big types of issues that are facing us now.
Yeah. Describe to me the following one word: West Edge.
Big.
The Courier Square.
Big.
The former Magnolia Development.
Big.
Leon Stavronakis versus John Teckenberg.
Interesting.
Yeah. November 3rd for you. Excuse me, November 17th now.
Opportunity.
Yeah. And I was talking to you just a second ago, and I told you that I ran into your wife on Market Street.
Mm-hmm.
And she said that, you guys, well, she had to plan a birthday party, and you actually had to go out and campaign. And I'm wondering, from a personal standpoint, what has it been like to be Jimmy Billy the father, Jimmy Billy the husband, and Jimmy Billy the person?
It's been a real juggling act,
Yeah.
and I had a little election night party Tuesday night, and I told the people there that my family has really made a big sacrifice the last few months. I mean, there have been very few Saturdays where I've been around, and so I really appreciate how much Beth has stepped up with the children and done so much with them by herself. And so we talked about taking them to the fair this weekend and trying to have some family time. Even though I am going to continue to be very busy, I hope. I mean, the Election Commission will meet today, and assuming that the runoff is a go, then I'll continue to be busy. But they've been a part of it. I mean, maybe my favorite part of Election Day was watching my 3 children stand in front of a poll with homemade signs that said, "Please vote for my daddy." And so it's a juggling act, but they've all been very supportive and committed to it.
Speaking of support, as far as the mayoral race, who will you support in the runoff?
Gosh, I think that we're down to 2 candidates now, which will hopefully mean that we have 2 weeks of laser-like focus on the issues. And I think the last time I talked to you, what I shared was that I'm really looking for the candidate that I feel like will stand up best under pressure when something bad happens and we really need leadership. And that's an intangible thing that it's more of a gut level decision on who who you think possesses those skills. So I continue to watch that race as I run my own, and will make my decision perhaps as late as when I walk into the polls. I know both John and Leon very well. I've probably known John for 30 years, and Leon for at least the last 20, and I think both are committed to Charleston and are running for the right reasons. But it's an important decision for me and for everyone else in Charleston.
And I know your father worked for Jenny Darren's campaign.
That's right.
And I'm wondering, do you have any insight on who she's going to actually endorse?
I really don't. I have quizzed a few folks that I know that were supporters of hers, asking what they plan to do, and I think they're all still trying to make their decision as well.
That's good to hear. Well, Jimmy Billy Jr., it's always good talking to you. Thank you so much.
Thanks for having me, Quintin.
Anytime. I appreciate that.